Okay.
Cinema Classics is sponsored by the Gateway Film Center and is produced by John DeSando and Johnny DiLoretto. Listen to shows online at wcbe.org. I'm John DeSando.
I'm Johnny DiLoretto.
This is Cinema Classics.
Yeah.
And we have one that I think is going to be a classic. How about that, huh?
You think
It's
so?
our show. I do. It's called The Harder They Fall.
Yeah.
All right, and you have reservations.
No, I saw the trailer for this movie. It's a new Western, directed by James Samuel, who I'd never heard of.
Oh, this guy.
You've heard of the singer Seal?
I do. It's his
This
brother.
is his brother.
I know.
I didn't know that.
I know.
Okay, so apparently this guy goes by The Bullets.
Yes, that's his name.
And he's a British music producer, singer, songwriter, and he makes, I guess, these videos, these films that go along with his music. So I'd never heard of the guy, and he comes guns a-blazing.
Good one. James, Jeymes.
Yes, with this new Western.
Yeah.
An all-black cast.
Yep.
Mostly there are a couple of scenes with white people in it, but they're incidental. I saw the trailer and I just thought, okay, this looks fun, but maybe a little too hyper-stylized.
It is. It is.
And it is.
Yeah.
But I gotta tell you, I'm watching this movie and it has enough of these little sort of variations on the old tropes, really clever twists in the violence that I thought was fun, and it plays like a graphic novel inspired adaptation of a Sergio Leone Western, if that makes sense.
Well done.
Right?
With a little John Sturgis and John Ford put in there.
For sure, yeah. So clearly, one of my complaints about modern Westerns, contemporary Westerns usually, is that it feels like the filmmakers aren't familiar with Westerns.
Okay.
Clearly, I think Samuel has done his homework. He knows and loves Westerns. There are a lot of references to Unforgiven and the Leone pictures.
You got to love the one where the guy's taking the photograph of the body. And it's just quick. It's just, but I think it's probably larded with stuff like this, with references like this.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Idris Elba plays the big heavy here, and there's a scene where he's beating a sheriff in the middle of the street. And doesn't that just scream Unforgiven? Gene Hackman and Unforgiven. Yes. So there's a lot of this. There's a shot even of Jonathan Majors, who's the lead here. There's a shot of him kind of strung up in an office, with his back towards the camera. Yeah. Also, again, reminding me heavily of Morgan Freeman in Unforgiven.
Oh,
so there's a lot of
Well, how about when they're this is a shot not just for this film, but for so many after the Magnificent Seven, when you have them all riding up on their horses. It's like this time they're 9.
Right.
But there were 7 from that one. But I mean, it's just
lots of that stuff, right? And I will say that. So first of all, we got to talk about his whole approach to this. Now, we talked briefly a while back about the history of Black Cowboys, and the Black Cowboy. Yeah, the Black Cowboy.
Idris was in Concrete Cowboys.
Right. Well, that was a modern day tale, right?
Yeah.
But what we have seemed to miss all these years in this genre is a representation of the Black Cowboy, whether hero or villain, rancher or outlaw.
What are the stats on that? Anywhere from a quarter to a third.
Yeah.
Cowboys were black.
Yeah, and it's really fascinating the history of it. And Samuel has, listen to these names: Rufus Buck, Nat Love, Trudy Smith, Stagecoach Mary, and Cherokee Bill.
Some of these are real people.
They're all of those. Every name I just named, it was a real person.
Yes.
Now, there's a big discrepancy between reality here and this movie. And I think he did that on purpose. I think he rooted, his story in these real names, real lives. But then he tells this crazy kind of operatic Western.
Good one, very good.
Drama,
I thought the same thing.
In order to capture the imaginations of younger people, I would imagine.
Well, I was again thinking about our show on Black Cowboys, and 3 that I don't know. I think we did mention Buck and the Preacher with Sidney Poitier.
Okay.
And so we've got Buck here.
Yeah, right.
But then we had Sergeant Rutledge and the Legend of Black Charlie, which I've not seen any of those.
And
but
Woody Strode was always a great presence in the John Ford films. Idris Elba kind of cutting a Strode-like figure here, you know.
Yeah. So the point would seem to be for our audience, they're going to say, "Oh no, I don't want to be beaten over the head about how whites themselves had persecuted blacks and so on." I don't think that's in here. Do you? I mean, toward the end, it does. The white town.
Race is kind of floating on the periphery here. You know, you get it in the confrontation between Buck's gang and the cavalry guys. Yeah. Right, on the train.
Oh my gosh, mercifully.
And then you get it a little bit in the bank robbery scene, and that's it.
Oh yeah.
And there's not a lot of overt stuff. What I love, there's a great moment right before the train robbery or the escape sequence where they're gonna break Rufus Buck out, and Regina King is riding up. And the engineer,
poor engineer.
He just goes to say what you think is a racial slur, but before he can get it out, she puts a bullet in his head. And then, Lakeith Stanfield, who's great, I love that guy. He makes a comment like, he might have said nincompoop.
Right, she said no. She said something about the N-word.
It's great. And that's really as sort of intense as it gets about race.
It's what I like very much about this. This is just a rock'em sock'em Western without having racial undertones or overtones, but it does.
Well, it has to be there. Sure. I think Samuel knows that as a genre, so much erasure has happened over the black experience and black representation in this particular genre that, Hollywood built itself on this genre. Yeah. Hollywood was built on the Western. And so it's really important to show these characters.
And, you got to love some of the touches, like Stagecoach Mary, I'm sure, never sang R&B.
Yeah, right.
when in the 19th century. But he brings in music. Jay-Z is a producer, and there's some Jay-Z music in the beginning. And Samuel himself has done a lot of the music for this.
Okay, yeah. That's one of the things I wanted to mention, too, when I saw the trailer. I thought, I don't know if the music was going to take me out of the genre.
I know.
One of the reasons why we love the Western is because it's transportive. It takes you into this world, right? This world of dirt and the clomping sound of horse hooves, and that music might take you out. He very sparingly, I thought, dabbled with a little bit of the R&B. There is a great score here. He plays with it.
Yeah,
he's playing with it.
I think he's got some reggae in here. He's got all different kinds. But you're right. He does it beautifully. And in fact, if as you and I usually do, we put on the subtitles.
Yeah, of course.
What's very valuable in that is that for the songs, they give you the lyrics that are almost indecipherable unless you have that, and then you can see how he has fit sound to sense.
Yeah.
Isn't that? This is what I love about this.
Yeah.
The prominent roles for women here. Strong women. Wow. Regina King,
Zazie Bates.
Yes, she's excellent.
Yeah, she's really good.
Yes,
she's. You know what? Every time I see her face, you can't take your eyes off of it. There's something going on. Like, and I mean, I've seen her. Obviously, she was in the Joker rather, with Joaquin. She's played Domino in Deadpool 2, I think. I really would love to see her front and center in something, because she's so watchable in a strange way.
And there are references to the past and to the the kind of 12 Years a Slave business without being it. I just caught at one point where Lakeith Stanfield, and I must agree with you, he practically steals this movie every time he's there.
I know. I found myself every time I saw him wondering how much better this movie would be if he was in the Jonathan Majors role.
And I I warmed up to Majors, but he does not have half of what Stanfield does. I was going to say, so he says at one point, so we're going to get away Dred Scott-free?
Yeah, right.
I mean,
That's
isn't
such a great
excellent?
line.
Yeah, just perfect.
Really great line.
Yes.
Yep.